Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is now 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the regular meeting of Sumter County Council for Tuesday, May 10th to order. Ms. B, would you please give us an invitation? Let us stand, please remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear God, our kind and heavenly Father, we do thank you for being the one in whom we live, move, and have our being. We thank you for all the county council members and thank you for the opportunity to serve. We thank you for everyone who came, our citizens, to witness local government. We thank you for our county administrator and his staff. And as we continue into this budget cycle, we just thank you for being an ultimate provider and that we can go through it with ease, knowing that you're going to help us to find the funds that we need for the things that we need to accomplish. We ask that you enter into our presence, into our hearts and minds as we go through the agenda that we have before us. Help us to make sound decisions according to your will. And as we come to the end of our meeting, help everyone to find their ways back home and find their families safe. And also do remember all of our men and women who are in uniform serving in harm's way. And don't forget the people in Ukraine and in Russia, the leadership, that they will have a heart to do according to your will. We ask you these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris Hilditch has been a resident of Sumter County since 1998. He served our nation in the United States Air Force and Air Force Reserve. He became interested in serving in the Air Force while in high school in Delaware, while attending and being a member of Air Force Junior ROTC. Chris served as a police security forces member with the 569th U.S. Forces Police Flight in the Kaiserturn, we got it right that time, military community in Germany at the beginning of his military career. Before completing his active duty career at Shore Force Base, he continued his military career in the Air Force Reserve as an IMA reservist, while also working as a deputy sheriff with the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. During his tenure with the Sheriff's Office, Chris returned to active duty while following the events of 9/11 to augment the 20th Security Forces Squadron on Shore Force Base. Chris has also worked over the years as a staff investigator and paralegal in 2 law firms in Sumter and has owned and operated a private investigative office prior to returning to work for Sumter County government. Chris has been the property manager for Sumter County government since January 2017 and has been the ADA coordinator for the county since 2021. Chris is a graduate of Leadership Sumter Class 23 and is a 2-week fellow. He currently serves on the Crime Stoppers Board and has been active in the Sumter community in other civic organizations such as the Knights of Columbus. Chris and his wife, Susan, have been married for over 21 years and they have a son, Aiden, and a daughter, Mary Grace. His wife is a registered respiratory therapist that works for Prisma Health Toomey and has worked there for over 20 years. Chris and his family live in County Council District 4. Thank you for your service.
Chris, as District 4 Councilman, we present you with this. And we appreciate you leading us in the place tonight. Thank you for your service.
Ms. Fleming, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Vote for approve. Second.
The moving properly seconded that we approve our agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Agenda is approved. Have a motion to approve the minutes from our regular meeting for April
Vote for
26th.
approval.
And the budget workshop and special meeting for Tuesday, April 22nd.
Second.
So moved. Been moved and properly seconded that we approve those two agendas. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Land use matters, RZ 2204, Ms. Rubin.
Good evening. RZ 2204 is a request at 5550 Highway 261 South. The applicant is Mr. Alfonso Golden, who is the property owner. This request is to rezone 5.92 acres of property from agricultural conservation to general residential. This property is just on the west side of Highway 261 South, south of Gulledge Road, Gulledge Road. And it's just also south of the intersection of Highway 261 and Wedgefield Highway. This property itself is heavily wooded. It is undeveloped. It is actually right across the street from Manchester State Forest. The request to rezone the property is to go from agricultural conservation to general residential in order to develop a residential subdivision. This property is the result of a combination of two lots, which were originally part of a large lot subdivision known as Fieldcrest in Section 2. This was platted in 1993 prior to the adoption of the 1999 Zoning Development Standards Ordinance. With the exception of Westgate subdivision, which is about 1,200 feet to the south of this site, all of the properties around this are 1 acre in size or greater. This property is on agricultural conservation, as is everything that surrounds it in the AC zoning district. The minimum lot size is 1 acre. When we look at the rezoning request for pieces of property, we actually look at the comprehensive land use plan designation. In this instance, the property is in the conservation preservation planning area, which intends to protect and preserve environmentally sensitive areas that are also prime agricultural lands from residential, industrial, and commercial encroachment. It's also directly across the street from the extent of the military protection area. This area of military protection is around the Point Set electronic combat range, so it's not necessarily adjacent to Shaw Air Force Base, but it is in place to protect the mission of Shaw. In general, the request to go from agricultural conservation, where the minimum lot sizes are 1 acre, to general residential, where the minimum lot size under optimum conditions would be as small as 6,000 square feet, is incompatible with both the conservation planning area as well as the military protection planning area. Planning Commission does recommend denial of this request. We find that the general residential zoning is generally incompatible with the intent of the conservation planning area as well as military protection. And the current AC zoning standards would allow this property to be divided into 5 individual buildable lots without any installation of infrastructure. The other issue of concern with introducing additional density in this area is that there is a lack of public sewer service. So anything that's developed in this area would be served by septic system if the soils are optimal. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. I do not see Mr. Golden here, nor was he in attendance at Planning Commission.
So you said it is not in the military protection?
It is.
No, I thought you said it's across the street.
It's not.
The blue area is military protection, the green area is conservation preservation. It's right on the edge of those two areas.
So if it's not in the military protection, why are you saying that you would deny it because of?
It's also incompatible with the intent of the conservation plan area, which looks at minimum lot sizes of above 1 acre in size.
Do you have any intent on the size lots or anything?
No, sir, not that we're aware of. He just wants larger density than 1 unit per acre.
Was this discussed with him as far as the military?
This was all discussed with him prior to making application, yes.
I'd like to talk to him.
Was he given any options as to, well, he could keep it as AC?
Yes, ma'am.
You okay with first reading to hear from him? Okay.
And does he know that if he, that the smaller lots would not, qualify for a septic system?
I don't know if they'll qualify for septic. I'm just saying that they would have to perk.
Yeah.
Right,
So the reality of them being the 6,000 square feet is very minimal, because generally you need at least 17 to 22,000 square feet in lot area to place a house, a septic tank, and the repair area required by VHAT.
what about water? Is water?
If public water is available, then those lot sizes would be around 17 to 22,000 square feet if they were rezoned to a district that allows that size. But if water is not, then the well placement will come into play on the size of the lots.
Right, and those are things that he needs to know about before he goes in, you know.
And we've had all of those discussions with him prior to making the application.
I'd like to hear from him. I'm okay with first reading until we hear from him, if that's okay with the council.
My only concern is if he can go down to 6,000 square foot, that's basically more.
I don't think he can get that one out there.
It's all pretty good.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve first reading, see if the applicant shows up at the public hearing. If not, well, it's not in. Only second, so it fails anyway.
Well, I don't mind seconding it, to give him the opportunity, to appear before us. Now, is that going to be a public hearing or just?
Yes.
Second reading will be a public
So, yes, I second that, to give him that opportunity. That has been our trend anyway.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to have first reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of having first reading, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Uh,
Aye or no?
no,
Okay, motion passes 6-1. RZ 2202, third reading.
There have been no changes to this request in second reading.
Motion approved third reading.
second, third reading.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we have third reading on RZ 2202. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance amendment number 2207.
There have been no changes to this request in
Move
second
approval
reading.
of third reading.
Been moved and properly seconded that we have third reading on ordinance number 2207. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Rubin. Ms. Blandy, proclamation recognizing Sumter County EMS. See, Director Hanks is here.
Councilmember, we have a proclamation here for EMS for 25 years of service in Sumter County. And I'd like to show that in just a second, try to get these rules down. And maybe it'll show better. Okay, what we'll do is give Mr. I have the proclamations here, and Mr. Hinks could speak with council members. But what we have, two proclamations. One is for emergency medical services, and which it will be from May 15th through May 21st. And then we also have one for EMS children's services, and that is for May 18th. But Mr. Hinks can tell the specifics.
Good evening, members of council. How are y'all? Just to elaborate on this, so the proclamation for EMS Week is a national thing that is done in recognition of emergency medical services providers throughout communities across the country. As you know, we've all had some trying times in emergency medical services throughout the nation with staffing shortages. The pandemic really hurt healthcare, and the folks working in the field. We're finally recovering from some of that, thankfully. We have a lot of enrollment in courses. Our state EMS association in South Carolina has done a phenomenal job of getting free education available for folks with interest to be able to allow them to go to school, obtain their EMT certification, and gain adequate employment with agencies who are so desperately in need. So that's been a big blessing, but we wanted to do this to recognize our staff here locally, to say thank you for the job that they do as emergency medical technicians in our community. They do a phenomenal job every day, responding to an average of 70 calls per day as of our latest stats. So doing 70 calls per day can be very cumbersome some days, but they have done it well and represented our county and taken care of visitors and citizens of this county very well. So that is a big piece of the proclamation that I requested on behalf of our staff. The other piece is EMS for Children Day. It's also a day that is set aside for us to focus on emergency medical care and safety practices with children. And this will be locally within our community as well as a state and national recognition. So we have partners with Sumter School District to do some things, offer safety programs such as swimming safety, helmets, bicycling, those type of things, especially relevant to this time of the year. That is typically conducted by our staff, who we have people trained in each area of knowledge within those, and they provide those services. Do fun things with children to let them learn about what EMS is, so if they ever have to request our services, it's not a scary ordeal, hopefully, for them. They know what to expect. They're able to see our equipment, see what we do, and hopefully spark interest maybe in the future, in their future, to potentially go down that road. But I do want to thank council for these proclamations. We're also conducting an open house the week of EMS week, and that's going to be May 20th from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m., and that's going to be open to the general public. We're going to have all kinds of things on display, really highlighting the history of EMS in Sumter County. As Ms. Blanding noted, 25 years, and that's 25 years of actually being under the county. That is being under the direction and control of county council, county administration. Historically, it's actually been in existence for 52 years. It was prior to that done by funeral homes and the hospital. We're going to have a lot of great things that day. We've got other public safety agencies that will join us. We've got local businesses that will be there, valuable information, things with palliative care within our community that's available to citizens that may need it. So we're going to have a lot of information. American Red Cross will be there. So we look forward and invite everybody to come out. We've got some information online regarding that we've been pushing out. Our staff has done a phenomenal job of getting it organized. We hope everybody come out, see us, have a good time, and enjoy that. Thank you so much for your time.
In order to make these two proclamations official, I'll entertain a motion to approve the two proclamations.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve these two proclamations. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, proclamations are approved.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Plan 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
If you don't mind, sir, I'd like to just notate, that's gonna be, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on May 20th at our EMS headquarters station. That's located at 131 East Hampton Avenue here in Sumter, so that way, we got folks at the proper location. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 22973, first reading.
Mr. Chairman, council members, good evening. As you know, we had a budget workshop this afternoon, and at this time, ordinance number 22973 is our budget ordinance, the levy of taxes. I'd like to present title only, revenues projected at $54,672,936. Expenditures in this budget of $55,775,454. For, at this point, a deficit budget of $1,125,527. I would also like to remind the council and notify the audience that we will have a special budget workshop next Tuesday, time to be determined, which time we'll continue the discussion on our general fund budget.
Have a motion to
Move first reading.
Seconds.
been moved and properly seconded that we have first reading on ordinance number 22973. Any discussion? This is entitled, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance 22973 is approved. Ordinance 22974 is approved.
Chair, this is a first reading on what is better known as our general fund bond ordinance. Is the issuance of several general obligation bond series 20-2022 for amounts not to exceed $3,500,000. That information we'll share with council tonight for information purposes, and for first reading, that's what we're presenting tonight, with more details to come at second and third reading on this budget bond ordinance.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded that we approve first reading on ordinance number 22974. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Ordinance number 22974 is approved. Committee reports. The Fiscal Tax and Property Committee did meet today at 4 o'clock. Council members had a discussion on what items can be discussed, or discussions. We had a discussion, no action was taken. We did come to a general agreement. No action was taken. We also went into an executive session to receive information from our attorneys and administrator on 2 legal matters. Again, no action was taken. Budget workshop.
Mr. Chair, we've covered that basically through the earlier budget ordinance introductions. I should mention that we do have scheduled the second reading on the budget ordinance. That would be the first meeting, excuse me, I think it's here in front of
24.
May 24th would be proposed second reading, and then on June the 14th would be the third and final reading for the budget ordinance.
Thank you. Come down to the report from council members on other meetings, trainings, and or conferences. Hearing none, monthly reports, Ms. Blandon.
Yes, sir. There's a BOA meeting tomorrow, and council members, that meeting will be at 3 o'clock. Also, in your package, you should have information concerning the emerging leaders graduation, which will be Wednesday, May 25th. Additionally, the Catch-All Shop Community Center will be having its Unity Appreciation Luncheon on Tuesday, May 24th at 11 a.m. But they would like you to RSVP by the 17th. So anyone planning to attend, please let me know. And I did mention this to you all earlier. I just put the EMS information in there again, but, we discussed that already. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blandy. Mr. Mixon, County Administrator.
Mr. Board Chair, real quick, I just would like to inform council that on April the 29th, since our last meeting, your county employees had another litter pickup, this time out on Highway 76 toward the landfill. We had approximately 30 employees get out on that morning, and beautiful day for a litter pickup. It was cool, but we picked up quite a bit of trash. I don't have the figures, the number of bags. We didn't use the litter picker this time because of the site, the shoulder distances, but we had a number of bags of trash picked up, as you can imagine. That is a very popular site, heavily traveled by a lot of our waste disposal trucks to the landfill. So desperately needed and greatly appreciated by the folks that live out there.
Thank you. Come now to the public comments portion of our agenda. Any citizens desiring to speak to council, please limit yourself to 3 minutes. Comments made from the chairman. When you come to the podium, please state your name for the record. Public comment section is now open. Seeing none, public comment is closed.
Move for adjournment.
Move for adjournment.
Been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you for attending.